Welcome, everybody. My name is Marilee Burnett, and I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of October 28th. Can you believe it? This is it, the final week of October, and we're getting ready to head into election time. So it promises to be a pretty incredible week as we start off, because we have a very volatile new moon in Scorpio this week, which happens either on the 31st or the 1st, depending on where you are located. And we're going to break it down because it is intense. Then we will, of course, go through everything day by day like we always do, which you would know if you are a subscriber. So make sure you click on that subscribe button below. That way you're notified every Saturday when I post this new content. You can also check out my daily content as well. And make sure you go to my website, marileeburnett.com, sign up there, and then that way you will be on my email list, and I'll send you out all my written content, such as this new moon in Scorpio that'll be going out to those who are already members of my website, and those of you who are about to join. Of course, you can access it at any time because it's already out there and posted. And of course, if you want to come work with me, check out my special offers, which I do have some out there right now for the new moons, full moons, and trust me, this is one you're going to want to be prepared for. And again, we'll get to that in a moment. All right. As usual, I break it down day by day, focusing on the energies that stand out. And if you want another better breakdown, go look at the monthly horoscope. If you like to revisit things more easily, you can do that in either the October, which we have a few days left, or November. Like I said, it's already out there and posted for you. Soon to be followed by, hopefully, before I post this, the December content that I have prepared as well. All right, so we're ready? This is going to be an interesting one, so let's dig in. As usual, we'll get started with Monday, October 28th. And at this time, as I use this AstroGold software, if you've been following me, this long-term contact, oh boy, it's going to be one of those recordings that we have going on between Chiron in Aries and Jupiter in Gemini is continuing. So this is a long sextile between these two retrograde planets that are working together in harmony to teach us something about having healthy boundaries, choosing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, and being willing to be open-minded and perhaps change our mind about something that's caused us pain in the past. So that is ongoing, and I'm not going to bring it up unless it gets activated by something that calls its energy to attention, because otherwise this is still continuing as it has for quite some time now. Then what we see today that is exact is Mars at 27 degrees of course, Cancer, and it is in this trine to Neptune retrograde, of course, at 27 degrees of Pisces. So Mars is what motivates us. Pisces is our feelings, it's healing and health, intuition, spirituality, music. It's all the things that have to do with our gifts, and it's all the things that are hidden and beneath the surface is an area where the subconscious mind is involved. And so then you have Mars in the sign of Cancer, which can empower women, in particular mothers, right? Mars is a warrior in the sign of Cancer. You're fighting for what you're passionate about, what you believe in, what speaks to you, what mothers are passionate about, right? So this has been going on ever since Mars moved into the sign of Cancer. And what's important to note is, as of December 6th, Mars will go retrograde in Leo. So it's still moving forward, and it will come back to this point during its retrograde. So there's an important seed being planted wherever this happens in your chart that will get revisited once Mars comes back. Now, today, both Neptune and Mars are also having a conversation with Uranus, which can bring surprises, innovation, unexpected twists and turns. They could be financial, could have to do with beauty, things that you value, right? This is Taurus, money. And they also are having a conversation with the moon in Virgo. So the moon in Virgo is, focused again on healing. But while Pisces may be more about mental health, hospitals, Virgo is natural health, natural healing modalities. It's more earthy and grounded. So when the moon's in Virgo, you emotionally can feel more connected to the earth and grounded. So the moon last week, if you followed me, was all about itself. It had to be talked about every single day. So it has a little leftover energy and it wants us to talk about it today because also as it speaks with these planets, it's fully lit up. If you look at all the contacts here, it's opposing Neptune. And in that opposition, it can force us to get rid of a pair of rose-colored glasses that we've been wearing for far too long. And as it speaks in harmony with Pluto and Capricorn, remember, we are winding down the time of Pluto and Capricorn. We have just until November 19th. So it's so important that we finish the work. So whatever your intuition is guiding you to do on Monday, do it. Right? Break free from that situation. Take off those rose-colored glasses. Stand up and fight for yourself. Speak up about your feelings, right? This is not the time to play small in no way, shape, or form. So a very intense emotional day on Monday because of all of the activation of all of these planets. And most of that energy, right, is in that blue, harmonious, helpful. But it's the red energy, right? The oppositions that cause us to feel the pressure that makes us make the changes. Now, this other opposition, this is one that is going to stick with us for some time and all the way through the election. So pay attention. Now, I have noticed with Pluto and Capricorn, because it rules the underworld, right? When it's involved, we don't always necessarily see on the surface whatever is actually happening in the moment of the contact. But there is a battle brewing, and it's been brewing all this previous week as well, between Mars, again, this is women in a fighting mode of some kind, against old power. This is sensitivity against power. Male, female, power, home, family. There is this long-standing battle. And like I said, it's going to go on and be a part of this new moon. It's going to be a part of the election cycle. So things are about to get intense. And we need to find the happy medium, that place in the middle where things can be resolved, not escalate the battle. Of course, there will be those who will escalate the battle, and we're going to have to manage the way through that. But in your life, I'm asking you to not escalate the battle and find, right? Where's that happy medium between what you need for your family versus what you need in your career, right? How can you keep both your boss happy and your home boss happy, right? There's some happy medium there that you want to find out, because then you can fully use your Pluto power transformation and Mars motivation together, right? Instead of working against each other, use them in a way that they can try to get along. But I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is intense and you want to be prepared. So lots of self-care in the weeks leading up to and during this so that you're able to manage this. Now, those of you who have planets at 29 degrees specifically are going to have to do this work. The rest of us still have to show up and do our work too, but you will feel it more intensely than the other signs and houses. If you don't have the 29 degrees, then it won't impact you as significantly as it will others. But 29 is critical, it's crisis, it's a test, it's the last test, and we are being tested in a big way. And Monday is just setting us up, that's the best way I can put it, for this whole week ahead. So dig in, connect, find an outlet for your frustration that is positive and healthy. Maybe you're creative, maybe you make music or you paint. Organize your home, right? Mars and Cancer, clean out the clutter. That's a really good way to use this energy in a positive way. All right. The other interesting thing we have going on here is this connection between the North Node in Aries. And keep in mind, the North Node's time in Aries is starting to really wind down. And as it sits here, guiding us again to choose ourselves, to have healthy boundaries, it is having a weird conversation with the sun in Scorpio, where this new moon will happen this week as well. So again, it really feels like what's going on Monday is a big setup, right? In order to have a new beginning in the sign of Scorpio, whatever house this is for you, there's something about yourself that you're going to have to choose in an unexpected way your priorities over somebody else's. I don't know, I'm holding my pen, but I'm putting that down now. All right. Okay, so that's Monday. Off and running. Let's take a look at Tuesday. And while I say take a look at, we're really not going to spend any time here because the contacts and the connections are pretty much the same. We're not seeing a lot of movement on Tuesday, so I'm not going to spend time talking on it. We're going to move straight on into Wednesday. And so, as I mentioned, every day this week, Mars is moving forward, getting closer to be also at the 29 degrees, which will happen, on Thursday on the new moon. Big transformation, big power struggles are coming. So each day this week, as I mentioned, you might feel this a little bit more and more. Now, remember how I said we don't talk too much every single week about what's going on with the sextile, the supportive energy between your teacher, Jupiter, and Chiron, your healer. But on this day, pay attention because, again, the moon is aspecting both. And whatever's coming up for you in relationships, again, remember how I said earlier, you can't keep wearing those rose-colored glasses. If your gut's been telling you something and you've been trying to ignore it and put it down, and that couldn't be true. It could be true, and you need to truly pay attention today to any relationship that you're in that doesn't respect your boundaries, that doesn't respect your priorities, because they're going to feel really, really important. They're going to be highlighted, and whatever Jupiter touches, it expands. So the moon in Libra is looking for relationships to be fair and balanced. And Jupiter is going to make that a huge priority for you on Wednesday. And of course, there's a reason why you have these things that are happening prior to having a new moon in Scorpio. So pay attention to what's coming for you by the events that are happening this week. Now, also you see today, Mercury, information, conversations, communication, can be transportation, is having a difficult conversation with Uranus. So on Wednesday, it's really important that you take care of your electronics, that you take care when traveling. Like if you're normally a person who's looking at their phone while they're driving, this is not the day to do that. This is a day where accidents are possible. So you just want to be extra careful and cautious. It's also a day where information could come up that will be really shocking and unsettling. And so just be prepared to not overreact, but don't ignore it either, right? Things that come up now are coming up for a reason. We need to see something, and you can't ignore it once you see it. Okay. So that is the biggest pieces on Wednesday. Now, let's move forward to Thursday. And again, for some of you late in the evening, this new moon's already going to happen. You're going to see already now the moon is in Scorpio. It's not his favorite place, but it's there to do the work once a month, transform ourselves emotionally, transform our sensitivities into power, right? So what we're going to focus on, though, today is this grand water trine that's happening again. Still Mercury, still opposing Uranus, but it's moved ahead a bit. Now it's having that conversation with Neptune. And they're both, of course, having the conversation with Mars, who's having the confrontation with Pluto, right? So when we get whatever this opportunity is, right, that's being created by all of this tension, there's a silver lining to it. There's something unexpected that will end up being the result of all of this pressure, all of this craziness, all of these twists and turns that are suddenly happening. So again, that's why I keep saying don't overreact. Detach a bit from whatever is showing up for you. And then again, look for your silver lining. What can you possibly do with this? Because when we have a grand water trine, it's our emotions, it's our intuition that are guiding us on what it is that we need to do to resolve this conflict, to resolve this pressure. And we need to respond in a way that's caring, right? Water, emotional, feeling type of energy. So this takes some care, some empathy, and some sympathy. So you'll want to pay attention again, what houses are being activated for you with all of this energy, because those houses together are having a house party, right? And there's something beneficial to you that's coming up as a result of it. So again, those with planets in these later degrees in the signs are going to be the ones that feel it the most. Take advantage of it. So that is Thursday. All right. So here we are Friday. And I'm going to do my usual where I make it so you can see this exactly as the new moon. That's pretty close. All right. So Friday, a new month. So as we start a new month, it's always wonderful to say rabbit, rabbit. As soon as you have that first moment of awakeness, like in the middle of the night when you got to get up and go, say rabbit, rabbit. It just helps set an intention for good things to come to you in the month ahead. And we're going to need it. So I can say we're really going to need it. So this new moon, when the ruler of the new moon, which of course is Pluto, and the secondary ruler of Scorpio, Mars, or vice versa, however you want to see that, are at war with one another, it's going to be an intense day. So the energy of Scorpio, right? It is things that are hidden beneath the surface. They're very intense experiences. It's the topics that feel a little taboo, right? It's sexuality, intimacy, it's death, it's transformation, it's power, it's money. I mean, every intense thing you can think of is falling under this new moon. And remember, of course, a new moon brings a new opportunity. However, this one I'm not necessarily suggesting that You want to set any new moon intentions because it's going to be so intense. However, this may be the time, if you need to wish for something, to end whatever this long-standing battle is that's going on in your life. Because my guess is it's a really long one. It could be one that's been going on since 2008 when Pluto first entered Capricorn. And as we know, it's about to exit. This is the test. This is the final moment where you have to finish the work in order for the transformation to complete, in order for the butterfly to break free and through the chrysalis. It has to fight. So there's a fight coming, and it's a big fight. And the end result of this fight is a major change and a major transformation. So those of you, of course, who have their birthday at this time know that the year ahead is going to look nothing like your life did in the past year. Huge changes and shifts and transformations are possible. And for anybody who has important planets, especially sun, moon, rising sign at 9 degrees, your nodes at 9 degrees of Scorpio, big change and transformation is coming your way as a result of this battle between Pluto and Mars. So there's something you have to stand up and fight for. And something is definitely going to be about you, yourself, and your needs, and what's a priority for you. So, most intense event of the entire year, I think, is coming on November 1st. And of course, in the US, we're right a few days before the election. So, vote early. If you can, mail in your ballot or go vote in person, because from this point forward, I think things will be really contentious and difficult for us to be able to vote in a way that you feel safe and secure. It's just my recommendation. So do that. Do your civic duty. Let your voice be heard. No matter what side you're on, go out and vote. So that is the big energy, right? So we already said that we've got this grand water trine still going on, right? So that's why we've got to pay attention to our intuition, pay attention to the conversations around you, pay attention to the hidden meaning that you really have to tune in and trust your gut. Do not give in to fear, however. That's not how you win any battle, by making more people around you afraid either. This is just about trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, and doing what's best for you. It's going to come up over and over and over again. So we have the grand water trine going on at this time. We have the opposition, as I mentioned, between Pluto and Mars, rulers, co-rulers of the sign of Scorpio. But it is time, right? If you've been feeling so stuck and stagnant this year, then here you go. This opportunity for a complete change and transformation. And you want to take advantage of it. Now, both the sun and moon do speak in harmony with Saturn that's sitting at 12 degrees of Pisces. 2 weeks about left of this Saturn retrograde work as well. Saturn's what helps hold all of this together. It's what gives the structure, and it gives the boundaries. It gives the plan that you need to execute. Now, it's not exact, but Saturn, of course, has its rings, and it's only about 3 degrees away from this new moon. So listen to whatever advice you're getting especially from that older sensitive person, that older intuitive mentor that you have in your life, because they will guide you through the battle, the fear, and the frustration in a way that keeps you holding it all together. So that is helpful that we have Saturn giving us some structure and some resistance so that, you know, if you try to punch your way through the chrysalis too soon, you'll never fly. So you have to do everything methodically and execute against this plan flawlessly in order for this whole rebirth and transformation to happen. It's pretty intense. Even when, you know, Mercury is speaking from Pluto's home sign directly with Pluto, change is imminent. Major change is imminent at this time. So I will be very curious to see what we all go through, and we'll be having interesting conversations next week, I am sure, as a result. And of course, this new moon can unfold over the next 2 weeks, which of course coincides with when Saturn will end its retrograde and when Pluto will move back into Aquarius. And so I just think this is such an important new moon that you got to show up and you got to pay attention all week long to whatever's showing up for you and whatever you're being guided towards. Don't try to run away from it. Don't try to hide from it. It's worth doing the work. If you want to know more about it, go check out my tarot card reading, because I'll pull tarot cards for every sign. Of course, go read the article. And right now, I'm going to give a really brief rundown on what you can expect potentially to work on. But there's so much going on that the nuances of this new moon, you'd be so much better served to actually book a reading with me so that we can look at all of the facets of this new moon, because it is going to be that incredible that you want to pay attention. And if nothing else, know that this new moon in this house is where complete transformation is possible after a little bit of tenseness. So let's take a look at what that could mean for each and every one of us. Now, I normally get us started with Aries. And if you are Aries, then you're lucky, because I always get started with you. But what I do typically is look at this from your whole sign houses. And that means it's so generic. But by using the whole signs, then we can at least give you some idea. And that means, for instance, even though it says 24 of Libra, imagine if it said 0 degrees Libra, then this would be your first house. Aries, this would be your 7th house, right? These are the house numbers on the inside. But if you want to know for Aries, well, where would this happen as far as my Scorpio house goes? Well, you can start with Aries at house number 1, and you count over to Scorpio, which of course is the 8th sign in the 8th house. So Aries, you'll have a very powerful transformation going on, because this is happening in your 8th house, the house that Scorpio rules, the house of death and transformation and power and rebirth, intimate relationships. So this is the time for you to be reborn. How do you want to see yourself in the year ahead? Because we're at that time that 2024 is winding down. And how do you want to start over and start fresh? Let the past go. Use the energy of this new moon to help get you there. And then we move on to Taurus. So, as usual, Taurus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? When I go forward, we go smaller in the houses, just so those of you who like to follow along with the math can see what we're doing here. So Taurus, and which of course you're the opposite sign of Scorpio. So whenever we're in opposition to something that's going on, we know there's pressure. Like I mentioned, Pluto, Mars, big pressure. So the 7th house puts the pressure in your serious relationships. Now they could be business, friendships, marriage. There is some potential conflict that causes you to completely restructure either your business or your personal relationships. Now that could be a good thing, right? Your marriage could be something that has been not your happy place. And so this transformation is good, but it's intense. So you have to do the work to get through it. Geminis, this is bringing up your 6th house. It could be health. It could be work. There is a new beginning. And maybe just to get to this point has been very intense, right? When we're talking about complete transformation in your work that you do, you could be starting a whole new job. You could be moving to start your new job. Something about what you do on a day-to-day basis is completely changing, and that change can feel a little unsettling. But again, this is what you really wanted down deep. Now that you're through it, you're excited for the opportunity. All right, and then we have Cancer. So a fellow water sign, a part of the big pressure Cancers. You've got Mars there. You've got Pluto opposing you. Your energy is part of this grand water trine. Of course, later degrees Cancers truly feeling this. So again, whatever emotional outlet you can find, because the 5th house is about your heart, your children, your passion, your hobbies. Channel the energy there. You could be taking a hobby to a whole new level, for instance, or finally finding one, like where you fit in, where you belong. If you protect your heart too much, it's going to go through some stuff. You can't hide from your feelings anymore. It's all coming out, like it or not. So channel your energy into the things that you're passionate about and let yourself feel. It's okay to feel. All right, Leos. We are talking here about your 3rd house. I said that wrong. 4th house. 4th house, home and family, going through a huge transformation. Maybe you're doing a remodel. Maybe you're going to move, right? Maybe you're going to have to move because of work. All are possible. And again, just know it's been intense getting to this point, and maybe it's going to be really intense over the next 2 weeks as you pack unexpectedly for this move that's happening way faster than you thought it was going to happen. Oh my God. Trust the process and just do it a little bit at a time and you will be fine. Same thing when it comes to anything you have to remodel in your house. Just take it a little bit at a time and you'll have a new fresh start at home, which is exciting. All right. Then we move to Virgos, and Virgo, this happens in your 3rd house. So 3rd house is about the community that you're part of. It could be your extended family members, siblings fall under here. It can be about education. It could be about transportation, right? It's all things 3rd house. It's also definitely something that's small in the community that you're a part of that could be changing in a huge way. Communication, things that you write, there's some intensity to that. And there could be some really intense conversations going on between you and your family members. Again, don't dig into the triggers, right? Because our family members tend to trigger us the most. Don't do it. Don't take the bait. Instead, focus on what it is that you want to create. And maybe that's it. Maybe you need to be journaling a lot at this time because it is the 3rd house. And You want to get through all the junk, let it all go, and start fresh and new in that area. All right, then we are moving on to Libra. Libra, this is happening for you in your second house, which is all about the money that you make. It's about your self-worth, what you put your value into. And again, so you could be somebody that's going through a huge change as far as your work goes. You could be starting a new position, and the way you make money could be totally changing, and it could feel scary. There could be conflicts with people at work, maybe with the people that affect your income. But trust wherever this is leading you, it's to something better, a better opportunity, because this isn't the right job for you. If there's this much turmoil and power struggles, you're just not in the right place, no matter how many times you try to do this certain type of work or work this certain type of job. If you keep running into the same obstacles over and over again, you're either not learning the lesson or you're working in the wrong field. And so this might be a time where you just like up and change everything you thought you ever knew and do something that challenges you more. Instead of creating intensity in the work that you do, find work that makes you feel intense in a good way. Because Scorpio energy loves to create a crisis, and that's not anything that feels good if it's your job, right? Use that little investigative mind for something better and go for it. This is the time to do it. All right, then of course we have Scorpios. And Scorpio, this is happening for you in your first house. So this is a personal transformation of some kind that has been a battle to get here, especially you early born Scorpios with this 9 degrees. This is it. This is your moment. This is your Phoenix rising. And the Phoenix doesn't rise without a few tears. It's just part of the process. It is the tears, the empathy, the sympathy that allow the rebirth process to start. They're the trigger. So don't be afraid of the level of emotions you might feel during this week, especially leading up to this tremendous personal transformation that you are about to go through. All right. Then we start with Sagittarius in the 12th house. Now, 12th house is the subconscious. It's psychological work. Couple that with Scorpio, and your dreams could be really intense this week. But it could also be that, if you're somebody who works for a hospital, there could be a lot of changes and transformation happening within the organization that you work for at this time. And if you're somebody who has struggled with things from a subconscious level, then now's the time to do the work and get rid of the thoughts and fears, that hold you back, which I find hard to believe, Sagittarius, except that you're not living true to who you are. Sagittarius, that forward movement, constantly challenging yourself. Whatever's holding you back from doing that, you got to get rid of it. And I have a ton of free hypnosis sessions out there. Go check it out. I will include the link for this video. So in this video for the Scorpio one, but I have one for every sign and lots of other things out there that you can try all for free. So make sure to check those out. Next, we have Capricorn. So again, Capricorn, like Cancers, an intense experience because of Pluto in your sign. Finally, almost done. A few more weeks so you can get through this, I promise. But this week, Capricorns, especially late born, woo, pressure. But you're resilient. Your ruler is Saturn. You've got this. But you also have to change. Can't keep doing the same old thing and expect a different outcome. Change is the priority. And it's in your 11th house. So In the 11th house, this is our friends. This is our networking groups. It's mentors, benefactors. It could be something to do with the business that you do on the internet. It's time to stop doing things alone and on your own and find your tribe. And so through some stressful situation or chaos, you just might find the people that you've been trying to find for a long time now. Okay. Keep me posted on that, Capricorn. And then we have Aquarius. So another sign that Aquarius is, it's in your career, it's your reputation. So this feels intense, right? This is the height of achievement for you in this lifetime. So another potential opportunity for a huge change coming as far as your work is concerned. And this might not be a surprise, right? For any and all of us, none of this might be a surprise to you. You've probably already been living it. And now it's just, here we go. We're ready. But even though you were ready for this big change as far as your career goes, Aquarius, it's still a little scary, right? It's intense. All that you have to do to manage this and make it happen, now it's real. And when things get real, Aquarius, you want to break free from the stress and you don't want to deal with it. But you're going to have to. But you will be so glad you did, because this is a huge opportunity for you and you fully want to be able to take advantage of it. All right. Then we have Pisces. Pisces, this is happening in your 9th house. So this could be something to do with your spiritual work, your opportunities for growth and expansion. Could have to do with foreign people, foreign places. This is a big deal, right? Jupiter rules the 9th house. And as a result, it feels big. It feels important. It's like finding your life purpose. And of course, you've had 2 big planets in there working you over. You got Saturn in retrograde, Neptune in retrograde, and now that Neptune is, part of this grand water trine. So there's something important that you need to do with this opportunity that's showing up for you. Even though you like to keep everything simple and easy and not make anybody angry at you, you might have to make some people a little upset with you in order to do what's best for you and to hold a really good boundary. But the growth that is possible for you as a result of it, totally worth it. So do it. All right. And that is all of them. Right back to Aries, of course. So definitely let me know in the comments what you're hoping for, what you want to transform, what questions you have. I can't do individual chart readings, but I, of course, can answer questions in any of my different platforms. So just let me know what you need and come work with me if you really need some help. All right. Woo, that's Friday. Let's go to Saturday. I know, you think that we'd be done with the week after all of that drama, but not yet. So keep in mind that, this conversation between Mars and Pluto isn't done, right? You're seeing Mars has just hit 29, the critical crisis degree, but it's only at 5 minutes, right? It's only 5 minutes. It's got to get all the way, up to the 44. So this tension, like I said, is going through the election. So there's something that kicks off with this week that we're going to have to deal with for the next several. And I've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. Just saying. All right. So the other thing to note on this day is that, oops, I forgot. I have to switch this from hours to days and move us forward. All right. Ooh, look at Mars moved all the way to 26. Moving right along. On Saturday, the other thing that'll move right along is Mercury will move into the sign of Sagittarius. And instead of things feeling so deep and intense, right? All these mysteries and all the subterfuge and all the drama, right? That comes from Mercury stirring trouble up, gets a little bit more light and fun when Mercury moves into the sign of Sagittarius. And things will start moving pretty swiftly, all until Sagittarius happens to go through its last retrograde of the year, which I'm looking at my notes. That is starting on November 25th. So we have some time to enjoy with Mercury in Sagittarius. So start enjoying it. Go on adventures. Maybe take a trip to a foreign country. Learn a foreign language. All positive ways to use the energy of Scorpio transition with Mercury into Sagittarius. Enjoy it. All right. Last but not least, we have Sunday. And as I mentioned, right, here we go. Sunday seems to be the most intense because the opposition is exact between Mars and Pluto. So whatever's been going on all week, like this is the most intense that it's going to get. And then we're going to see about next week, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But there is some positive, happy energy, right? So we have Mercury in Scorpio. And I keep saying that. Mercury in Sagittarius now with the moon, right? Which is feeling fun and excited. You want to have movement. You want to go have fun. That's great, right? Then we have this conversation between the two benefics, which is Venus in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Gemini, which Jupiter rules, of course, as I mentioned, Sagittarius. So anytime you have planets that come through and then talk with the ruler of that sign, there's something significant happening. Now, an opposition between the two benefics don't overdo it today with your adventures, with your conversations, but do enjoy them, right? There's some potential healing to maybe all of this chaos that occurs today with the help of a woman, maybe from a foreign country, foreign background, as Venus speaks in harmony with Chiron in Aries. So there's some potential to help smooth out all of this tension, and it's something to do with this female character on this day. So look to that. And then the other thing helping, I mentioned Saturn earlier, right? Trying to hold all this together. Well, Saturn is having a conversation with the sun in Scorpio, both water signs, right? It creates a trine. So there is something that you want to be taking advantage of at this time. Now, it could be something from the past, someone from the past, a mentor, a leader, that's going to help you through this transformation work that you need to do. And now, right, as the sun gets closer to Saturn, or it will be the next couple of days, follow the rules, follow the instructions, and you will get through whatever this tension is. So that's the week. Yay, yes! More fun and intense roller coaster rides are showing up. As we get into next week, let's just take a look at a couple things, and then of course we'll go way more in depth with the next week's video, and we'll look at the election pretty closely. We do have Mars going into the sign of Leo. So again, it feels lighter, more fun because you have a fire sign with a planet that's fiery. Mars enjoys Leo much, much more than it enjoys the watery Cancer energy. So you have between now and the next month to enjoy this forward movement in the sign of Leo before it slows down, and we will all slow down with it and take a look at leadership, right? Leo is leaders. Something about them needs to be reviewed, and it will be reviewed until next February when this retrograde ends. However, it will go, of course, back into the sign of Cancer. It will go back to, let's see, 17 degrees of Cancer. So we have a long time. And whenever Mars slows down and goes retrograde, it's so hard to keep yourself moving forward. So we'll be talking a lot about that as we go forward the rest of this year. Then there's going to be a conversation with Mercury and the nodes. So there's fated conversations that are happening. And of course, we have big election contention. And as I mentioned, we will take a look at that on Tuesday. Maybe I'll even pull up Kamala and what we think is Donald Trump's charts, and you can kind of see where all of the tension and chaos is going on for them during the election as well. So, all right. That's all I got. Just a few things. No big deal. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and liking my work. And don't shoot the messenger. I didn't create what's about to happen in this week ahead. And trust me, when we do the hard work, the reward is so worth it. And that's the lesson of Saturn. Do the work and you will be rewarded. The harder you work, and not necessarily, not just hard and smart, right? Saturn wants you to work harder, right? But it does want you to work smarter as well. And that's giving you a blueprint. Are you paying attention to what you've been given? All right. I could go on, but we won't. So we'll come back together next week. Like I said, let me know your comments. Let me know what's changing for you. I'm so curious, as usual, how this week will turn out. And of course, I'm going to be asking the tarot cards, what do you know or know? Oh, man, I hope I'm causing chaos on my desk. I hope I can learn how to talk next week. But I will be asking the cards, what do we need to know about our transformation journey in the week ahead? So be sure and tune in for that as well. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll talk soon. Bye now. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.